$1 million on insurance and pre-existing conditions,
Student loan forgiveness.
student loan forgiveness. We
Gotten
can
a
keep
lot of
going.
things.
What hasn't the Dems done?
Yeah, I
This
know,
is a
right?
better
Right.
question. Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have minimum wage. You wouldn't have Social Security. You wouldn't have any of that without the Democrats.
You wouldn't have a highway system without the Democrats.
That's true. You
So-
wouldn't have a highway system.
So
Which, by the way,
what are the
which-
rules so I know?
which, by the way, as a truck driver, I can confidently say with my whole ass chest that that highway was specifically built for me.
That.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Yeah. Look at what he's done. We have heated sidewalks.
I love you, NB. I love you, NB.
I don't have heated sidewalks. I live in Houston. The hell?
I live in Southern California. Our sidewalks are always heated.
Now I
Exactly.
want
By the
I
sun.
want to see.
I live in northern Indiana, and it's cold as fuck here in the winter.
I just want
Well,
to point out that
You've got somewhere you can
Kathleen-
store the ice cream.
Who
I
has
want to
heated
point out
sidewalks
that
from a boy?
Kathleen is now singing "If I Could Turn Back
Back
Time."
time.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. Like,
Yeah,
what is
back
Cher gonna do? Go sing to him?
Way.
Shadow band.
I turn
Are you
back all
debating?
the things that caused you. And you
Hold on a second, guys.
Say
Shadow band. Are you debating
the
or?
stars. I give
I'd
it
give 'em
all
all
to you.
I'm gonna start muting people. My ears. No, I'm kidding.
I love you,
Um,
Tim. She's awesome. I love it. It's a Saturday.
Actually, I got to
We
jump
need
down,
comedic
Rebel.
relief.
I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for letting me up. I got to jump down.
Oh,
Love you,
all right,
Brian.
bro.
I know
All
I'm
right.
shortly
See
behind
ya.
you.
I've only got 33% on my phone, so this won't be very much longer anyway.
Yeah,
I love Rogue
I gotta
Jim.
hop down. too.
Listen to what Rogue Jim wrote.
Alright.
He said Biden, in between passing the CHIPS Act and PACT Act, he fundraised and saved puppies.
It's
And
all
a
about the
cat.
puppies.
Don't forget the cat they adopted also.
Oh, don't
Oh,
get us
yeah.
starting on another song, Starship.
All right, Shadow Band. What are you looking for?
I just started debating recently, like within the last couple days. So I have been getting a lot of pushback from people, and I don't know. I've been in a lot of debates. Like, I've heard a lot of sides to things, and I've done research on things, but I still struggle with, I guess, debating certain topics. So, like, I tried saying that, like, you know, Biden passed the infrastructure bill, and then somebody was like, well, what infrastructure has been built since then? And I had no response for that, really. I didn't know what to say. Like,
You have to, every
bridges.
state talks about it.
Exactly.
You have to go into every state. Like, for example, Ted Cruz, I'll tell you for Texas. So Ted Cruz was actually bragging about it. There's a big freeway, big highway that's going from Lubbock, Texas, all the way to Canada. And he said that the building of that national highway is going to do huge things for Texas's economy and bring in jobs. And he was just bragging about it. I did a whole post about that. Our international airport, Bush International in Houston, is finally under construction. I think Rudy was talking about in Ohio that there is a bunch of infrastructure going in, lots of stuff. So every
And let's and let's not forget bridges and highways across the country for international, you know, the highways that go across each of the state lines also. I-5, all of those long stretches.
Yep.
Okay.
Just a moment.
Mm.
Whyso Redacted says so. The answer is nothing, though. So
That's what you got out of
why
that?
why
Jesus.
so redacted? Have you worked in construction at all? Do you have any idea what it takes for a project like that? I'm gonna assume no.
Can you show the Q-tips again, Rebel? He needs some.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Florida, good old Florida. You know, there was a building that just like dropped on a bunch of people.
There's
Oh,
there's
that guy.
planning.
Yeah,
No, that
that's
There's
one.
planning involved. There's
infrastructure.
permits. There's all kinds of bureaucratic red tape. There's hiring of employee. I mean, you don't just say here's an infrastructure bill and then boom, you
Everything's
twitch your
done.
nose like I Dream of Jeannie and or blink your eyes. I mean, come on, man.
Did
The
we win the
bill,
election?
yeah.
Did we win the election yet? Did we win the election? I'm blinking.
I know, right? Well, if we think it, it might be true. So
I
I'm
know, right?
blinking. I'm blinking.
It works for Trump. It needs to work for us. If we think it, it will happen.
yeah, I
Mhm.
like that idea.
I weigh
Mhm.
120 pounds right now.
Exactly,
Right
Rob.
on.
The infrastructure bill is over 10 years. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
On my left side.
Now I can tell you, Shadow, I'm an owner operator truck driver. I own my rig and I go nationwide. Everywhere I go, there's road construction. That was not the case a year ago.
Yep.
basically
Talk
what
about
happened
America first.
the
Yep.
last debate I was in, they were talking about abortion. And it was basically just
Yeah.
me versus 5 pro-lifers, and
Oh, good luck with that.
they, yeah,
I
they're
would
trying to
handle it
say
like a
that
champ.
abortion is birth control, and I said that that's like literally impossible because birth control prevents pregnancy and abortion ends pregnancy, so you can't use abortion as birth control. And that's when they pivoted to how
Technically,
Democrats.
you can, and I'm a pro-choice person. It is a
Yep.
form of birth control, but
So
the thing is
do
it's
that.
nobody's business how to control the birth of what's in my body.
There are people that are irresponsible, and there are people that, yep, but that it's still her right. And regardless,
Mac.
I watch all of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you plan my
Well,
financials?
I mean, they basically conceded to my argument in that debate. They because then that's when they pivoted and said that basically Biden hasn't done anything since he's been in office, and I brought up the
Sure.
infrastructure bill, and that's when I had no idea where to go from there. So I
I think so.
I think
Yeah,
it's
that's what it's
Ohio. Yeah.
about. There's another one in New York, Tech Whiz.
Yeah.
Tech Whiz
So
is in New York, so I don't
There's
know.
like I want to
I
say
know there's
there's
one in
3 or
Ohio.
4 that are being built.
Clay, New York.
so
Oh, Clay, New York. Okay, Biden was just there yesterday. Okay, there's one in. Oh,
8 CWK8 just said to you, Shadow Band. Only point that needs to be made for abortion is it's a privacy issue and control over someone's body, and that's all it is.
that's
So there
right.
you go.
Yeah.
Don't argue heartbeat biology. all that stuff. I don't do that. And I've told people to stop doing that because at the end of the day, people need to understand they're trying to control women. They want women burdened down with children. They don't want them in the workforce. They don't want them in powerful
Voting.
positions. They don't want them voting. It's exactly what it is.
Well,
keep them
I
trapped.
mean, that's the crazy part is that all 5 of the people I was debating against were women, and they were all pro-life.
It's
And
because
Because
it was
they're
just like,
religious.
I don't.
nut jobs.
It's
They're
religious. Let's
they're
just be
religious.
very clear. I'll say it. I don't care. It's
Mhm.
this religiosity in their brain that believes that some spirit god somewhere in the clouds or beyond gets to dictate what happens in my vagina and uterus. I'll say it because I have them. Well, no, I don't have a uterus. I ripped it out. Oh, wait. Okay, did I say that? Yeah, I did. I made a choice for my body to rip it out.
Yep.
That's what I did for me. And that's the thing is I can say that because I experienced the process. I gave life. I carried life. And when I did that, I made the choice to have those children. But if I had ever been SA'd, or if I had ever made a decision financially that I could not go through with something, or I had a partner at the time who was not involved and I needed to make a decision, nobody else has a right to determine that for my body.
That's
Period.
right. It's
Period.
not your business what another woman decides to do with her life.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Eh,
Yep. Yep. That's right.
And I have to be honest, because I think it's Munon, she said I had
Munon.
to fight. I had to fight for it. So did I. I had to fight for a hysterectomy at 47 years old, and I
Yep.
almost died. And let me tell you, it was a female doctor who was injecting me with hormones and putting me on 9 different birth control pills for over 7 years, and they were refusing my medical treatment. And it wasn't till I demanded, while hemorrhaging, demanded to be seen by a surgeon. I will tell you how fast it went. On May 17th of 2018, I went in for an ultrasound. They did an ultrasound, and by the time I hit the parking lot, the surgeon was calling me and said, "You need to be hospitalized immediately." That's how fast it went. I've told this story before. Shay's heard it. But by the time an average uterus weighs about 50 to 80 uh, cc's, I believe. I'm forgetting my measurements. By the time they did my
Kilograms.
yeah, I can't think right now because this is pissing me off. When somebody dictates when somebody dictates my body, because I go right back to that moment. I was having to take, I was pernicious anemic, which means my body was bleeding out faster all the nutrients I needed, not just iron, this vitamin C, all my B vitamins, everything. I was pale. These wonderful bags that I have now are from constantly anemic. So this male surgeon saw what I was dealing with. I had a tumor in my body the size of a cantaloupe, and that was just one of hundreds.
But it's
And
not
it
the
weighed
tumor.
1,169 kilograms by the time they took it out.
Yeah.
But it's
Exactly.
not the tumor.
Hey guys, I
You
gotta hop
should
down. I love
hurry.
y'all so much. This was
All right,
awesome.
Shay.
Bye guys. Have an
Love you.
awesome
Bye.
day. Mwah. Love y'all. Bye.
What did you just say?
So
But
just
politicians,
remember,
Yes.
it's not the tumor.
I know. It was a living cell. I should have delivered it.
Right. I'm sure, Shadow, you've probably seen the debates over body count and stuff like that. Don't even get involved at those. Those are
No, I
those are culture war debates that are absolutely stupid.
yeah, I think that that whole argument is subjective, like period. But
Yeah.
also my only issue with that whole argument is just that body count is in our lexicon because it just to me it dehumanizes people in general. But I'm older than most of the people that are in those debates, so I just stay out of them.
Yeah, like what are you passionate about? Like what's
Exactly.
something that What is something that
honestly,
you're super passionate about?
something that I'm passionate about that doesn't get a lot of traction is probably just men's mental health, but it's because I'm literally dying. I have liver failure because I was an alcoholic, because I just was unhappy, and I didn't seek treatment. I just medicated myself for many years.
Okay.
So I think that, people kind of like glaze over it and they're like, it's important, but they don't really talk about it. And I don't know. There's a lot of bigger issues, so people don't really touch on it that much.
Are you on a transplant list?
Um, I'm currently at a point where I'm not so sick that I can qualify for a transplant, but I'm also never going to be healthy enough to not need one. So I'm not able to be on the transplant list until my MELD score reaches a certain point.
Okay.
So I'm basically like on a waiting list to be on the list,
Okay.
and that list
So,
is based off of my health. So like as soon as I'm sick enough to need a transplant, then I'm listed, and then that list is changed based on like who needs it right away.
right. So, can I offer you a word of advice as
Sure.
someone who works in the mental health field?
Yeah.
Is you need to change your thinking right now. You said I'm dying from liver failure. No, you are living with liver disease. You are living with liver failure. You're not dying from it. So once we change that in your vocabulary, it helps to cycle into the brain neurons to change the way you're thinking of it. I want you to think about living with an ailment and then finding ways to help better it as we get you through the process. My sister had melanoma and had to have liver surgery to save her life in order to extend her life.
Hmm.
And it had metastasized in her liver. She had 60% of her liver removed, and she lived 11 years fighting melanoma. And I want you to fight with that in mind. I want you to think about living with a disease and not dying from it, because there is still hope for you. So
Yeah.
when you tell me men's mental health and then you change it to the negative, that's where it starts with you, Shadow, is that you have to change the way you're thinking about your health first and foremost, because once you change the physical idea of it, the mental health will follow. I want you to live and fight for your ability to get on that list if that's what it ultimately comes down to. And then
Yeah.
I want you to go back and I want you to think about what you said, and you said I drank too much and I was masking pain. The fact that you're acknowledging that change requires acceptance, and so you've accepted that, but you don't have to punish yourself anymore for that. You need to fight for the opposite of that now.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay? Um I know a person many years ago who went through cirrhosis of the liver from alcoholism, and he had a transplant and he lived another 20 years. So I want you to understand that there is that possibility to grab onto life and to fight for it. I don't know how old you are, but I hear in your voice somebody who wants to live. And I need you to start with that mindset of I'm living with this ailment, but I am fighting every day and I'm going to do everything in my power for survival.
Yeah, no, I'm already doing that. I take like 15 different medications on a set schedule. I don't know. I do everything I can to improve my health every day, because although I do want to be listed eventually, I'm not like rushing to get there. If I'm too healthy to be on it, then I want to stay at that point where like, I want to be as far at the bottom of the line as possible.
Right. And
So
are you doing research with your doctor, or working with your doctor about because you know that they can take a piece of a healthy liver and transplant it now and take out the cirrhotic liver, right?
Yeah, we've talked about all the options,
Okay.
and they told me basically that um that it's not worth taking any kind of gamble right now to have that kind of a major surgery. Like I'm young enough and healthy enough to where like that would just be more of a risk than it
Okay.
would be a potential reward. So, I mean, they gave me the option, but they, you know, my doctors spoke to me really bluntly about it and told me, you know, y- you're it's they use like a gambling analogy literally, and they were like, you know, you're right now you're it's not worth actually taking the choice. He's like, there's people that like if they don't take the gamble, then they lose everything. So they have to take that risk.
Okay. The other thing is, have they spoken to you already about Tylenol versus NSAIDs?
Tylenol versus what?
NSAIDs, which are the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So Motrin, naproxen, aspirin versus Tylenol. Tylenol
Yeah,
is
yeah.
okay. So make sure you're not taking Tylenol for any pain because
I
it's
don't I don't
processed through.
I don't take anything outside of what's prescribed for me. So if even if I have pain, I just deal with it.
Right, but I want you to make sure you're knowing what your recourses are. So make sure you talk to your doctors about acetaminophen type products versus NSAIDs because NSAIDs are processed through your, and I know Nurse Jean is on here somewhere, so she can back me up 1,000%. NSAIDs are processed through your kidneys, but Tylenol and acetaminophen is processed through your liver. So you don't
Yeah,
want to take any type of pain medication that will function or process through your liver because
yeah,
that will also cause cirrhosis. So we always think alcohol. No, certain medications are also processed through the liver also, and we want to keep that as healthy as possible. So make sure you talk to your doctors about that. That's all
yeah.
I'm
I've
going to
talked
say.
I've
I
talked
know
to
way
them
too
about
much
that.
about this subject because I literally did watch my sister fight for 11 years and she lived. And because of her fight and changing her mindset, because melanoma, again, most people died after 1 year, she lived 11 years. She got to meet both of her grandchildren. So you can survive. And I want you to live with that mindset, okay?
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate that.
Okay, Second Amendment.
So, yeah.
I just wanted okay, Nurse Jean, there it is. And Nurse Jean, if you don't know, is Road Rebel's wife. And she just said it's true what Jim is saying. So I want you to just talk to your doctors because I really think that just the way you started the conversation and then said what you said, that is going to be your first step to flipping your mental health to working for you instead of against you.
Nurse
And
Gail
I
is also,
Well,
you know,
I just I don't know how to like. I'd like it to become more of a debate. Like I think more people should be talking about it. So because
start doing it, man.
I feel like I just feel like most of what's talked about, and there's you know obvious reasons for it. It's like people talk about the patriarchy, they talk about toxic masculinity, but like I feel like men's mental health really gets overlooked, and
Start
it's
talking
kind of
about it.
frustrating. And yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
exactly.
Right. Yes.
I just think I think the biggest hurdle for me is it not being the biggest issue. Like it's not like considered like a major issue to people. So it it might help a few people, but I don't I just don't think there's enough awareness around it, and I don't know how to make people aware of it, I guess.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I have a lot of different topics that I talk about, but it's also because I read a lot. I like history. I'm a retired first sergeant in the Army. I can talk about military stuff. I can talk about the Constitution. I can talk about vaccines. I can talk about men's health. I can talk about toxic masculinity. I can talk about racism. I can talk about a lot of different subjects because I immerse myself in those things that I'm passionate about. Abortion rights. I can sit here and talk about abortions and the stages of pregnancy that a lot of people on the right don't know and don't understand. Um, a lot of it just has to do with doing a lot of reading on subjects that you're wanting to be more familiar with. Watching other really good debaters on this platform and seeing how they structure their debates, um, and then learning what to avoid that are going to be end up being emotionally driven arguments that are deemed to have gotcha moments to make you look bad.
Yeah.
Um, like abortion for me, my stance of it is mind your fucking business. It's none of your business. Your life's not going to be affected one way or the other if Susie Jane Rottencrotched over in Ohio decides to, yeet her crotch goblin. It's not going to affect you one way or another. So at the end of the day, what the fuck do you care? And they're always going to, well, it's
I'm
a human
dying.
life. It's a human life. And it's like, okay, well, do you see? I use qualifier questions when I debate. Do you own a firearm? Well, yeah. Okay, then you don't give a fuck about life. So stop arguing about the life. The life isn't what's important to you. What's important to you is controlling what a woman does. Period. It's either about their religion or it's about control. Both of them, not needed in today's society. Period. Full stop. End of debate.
Yeah.
And then you. Yeah.
Oh, I'm very aware. I,
I'll tell you another.
I've been watching debates for quite a while now, and I mean I know about all the drama that's going on with that whole group, and yeah,
Yeah.
I honestly I'm done with that entire side of the debate community. Like I don't have any patience for it anymore. Like there's if I don't know. I'm just done with that whole side. I would like to just see debates. Like I have a lot of respect for Bradley. Do you know who Carbon is?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, he's just all facts, all business. Like
Yeah.
he listens, he responds. Like there's no insulting, there's no ad homs. Like it's just like all
Mackenzie's
right,
the
we're gonna
same way.
talk about this and hear each other out. Like, and,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, I love I love Kiara. Great. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And as soon as Tech Wiz just said, ad homs are how you know you've won. Instantly.
Yep.
The second somebody calls me a name, ugly,
Yep.
old, fat, this, stupid, you know, soon as it happens, I'm like, whoop, there it is. I'm the one who's got them triggered.
Yep. One of the things that I'm really well known for is I'm probably the coolest cucumber on this app when it comes to debating.
Except
Um,
one time he yelled at me really bad, and it was Mr. Peeves that came to my defense. But I still love you.
oh, okay, so 99% of the time I'm calm as a cucumber. Um,
I'm just messing with you,
but
but you did.
I
But it was
you
because of the topic.
yeah, yeah. But it's just it's one of those things where if you stay calm and you don't let emotions get involved, you debate the facts, you have your knowledge, you've got your resources, etc., you'll be good.
You will.
Yeah. All
I mean,
right.
I'm so good.
Well, I appreciate.
I'm so good that I've had 5 accounts permanently banned. My main account right now has a permanent live ban, and I've got 21 other accounts so that when I get live banned, I can be back in 10 seconds later and piss them right the fuck off all over again. That's how much I'm hated.
He's not
uh,
hated.
I'm
He's
not trying to
loved.
be hated,
So,
but I appreciate the tips and the advice because I could sure use it.
yeah.
Um,
Well, shoot me a follow. I'll shoot you a follow, and you're welcome anytime. Um,
That's
my
important. It took him a long time to follow me back.
I just miss a lot of people because I have so many accounts.
I followed you too. I'm just giving you a hard time, Rebel.
Damn it, Jim. But yeah, I mean, that's the best thing I can give you. And if you wanna watch some debates and a couple of trucker dudes just shooting the shit for most of the day, Trucker 557 and I do a live Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern, and
oh,
we're usually on most of the day.
And they're
I'm on
awesome.
the I'm in Arizona, so
Well,
that's
no,
like
we start at 8 a.m. Eastern, and we usually go pretty much all day.
oh okay. I'll probably
Yeah,
hop in later then.
yeah. So, I mean, you're always welcome to come in and listen in or jump in the box if there's something you want to talk about, or if we ever get somebody that wants to discuss men's mental health, since that's something you're passionate about, I'd be happy to have you come up and talk about it.
And I
You know?
did a little
Yeah.
potty break while you guys were discussing it, but I could hear the conversation, and I just want to make sure that when you guys are identifying mental health, that it does not have a sex. It's not men's mental health versus women's. It's just mental health. It's the topic that you bring up. So when you say toxic masculinity, because we all have the same brain capacity. But when you bring up toxic masculinity, that is a subject for male. But there could be a woman who has a lot of masculinity ideology too. So be
Right.
careful when you identify it as a gender, because that's where you're going to lose people as well. Mental health is mental health. We all have depression, anxiety, Every person, I don't care who you are, suffers from some component of mental health within their lifetime and almost monthly. And this
I
I'm
idea,
understand.
perfect in every way.
I'm
I understand what you're saying, but I feel like men's mental health specifically gets overlooked more than just mental health in general. But I mean, that's
but what I'm saying is when
Well,
when
no, but
you
she's making a very fair point, though, because, on the left, we are all inclusive, right? We want to have that equality between everyone, and I think she makes a very, very fair point on that. That if you target one, you're excluding others, and you don't want to be that. You don't want to be the one that excludes, because it does happen with everyone.
So
yeah,
just make
And
sure that if you pick a topic, you explain the topic as to why you're discussing it so that you can keep the audience is what I'm saying, because mental health affects all walks of life,
yeah,
all socioeconomic levels, both genders, all genders, however you want to say it. But I understand what you're saying is that because you're a man who has dealt with mental health issues and there's not many places you feel you can talk about it, if I'm on the right track, then
yes,
you want to, yes. See, I actually do know a little bit about what I'm talking about. Um, I've spent the last 10 years of my life, 10 years of my life in mental health. So I just want you to be cautious about how you brand something for a conversation because you want to bring in as much support to the conversation as possible.
and full
I understand.
disclosure, until she said that, I didn't even know that. So even I learned something today. Damn, I thought I was perfect.
Mhm.
Shit.
And just said that too, so that she never thought of it that way. I just have to be really, it's really a wheelhouse for me because I just think everybody needs to understand that no matter what side of the fence you're on politically, no matter what side of the fence you are gender wise, we all suffer from some form of mental health components. And if you're a man, I think the idea of toxic masculinity and not being able to express your emotions is huge. And I think
Yeah.
that you bringing it forward is great, but make sure you understand that there's going to be a larger conversation to be had. That it's not just this, and I'll use law enforcement and military, right? Law enforcement and military that I have helped over the years would often say, "You don't understand." I've literally had officers look at me and go, "You don't understand. You don't wear a uniform. You can't help me. You don't know what I've been through." And Rhoda will tell you that a lot of military personnel, they'll do the same thing. They don't seek help because they don't think the person sitting on the other side can help them. The
I did
problem
it at
is,
first.
yeah, the problem is that you I don't have to wear a badge in order to support your pain. I don't have to wear a uniform in order to hear your story. I don't need to carry a gun in order to understand the atrocities you witness while carrying a gun or being in a war zone. What I have to be for you is your ability to vent, purge, and empathize and hold your spirit and soul in that safe space. That's what I'm there for. And once I can get that out there, the room is open for healing. And that's the same with gender. I don't have to have a penis to know that you're hurt by X, Y, and Z. I just have to know. I almost said something that was going to sound really bad about penis, but I, I have to be, I was going to say I have to be able to hold that. See, humor. And I have done that
Yeah.
too, but not in that room. I have to be able to be in that space with you for you. So that's what I'm saying as a mental health advocate. Um, 100%. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of my clients were the wives or children of law enforcement and military. So that's what I'm talking about is that you, I, I know, And what
Shannon,
that
that's
actually
terrible.
does is bridge a gap into bringing the officer into the room and then getting that therapeutic process to happen. Stop it, you guys. See, I opened the door for
You opened the
not
door
for
for
naughty
after. Yeah,
humor.
yeah,
Um,
you did.
it's
It
okay.
is
I've held a lot
because
of penises.
I'm
Yes.
I'm thinking of
Let's
you
start that
leading.
rumor. Maybe I'll
I'm
get a
thinking
date.
of you leading a husband into the room by his penis. Now it's like, oh my god. Yeah.
It's just really important because and I'm going to give you why I'm saying this too. I did a post about toxic masculinity that was an actual article, news article, and I got community guideline violations for attacking men. So
Yeah.
when you use something like the term toxic masculinity, you're going to get men who suffer from toxic masculinity who are not going to, they're going to come at you.
Yep.
So,
No, I'm aware.
right, right,
Right corner. We call him RC.
There's I've seen a lot of men say like toxic masculinity doesn't exist and
exactly.
all this stuff, and it's like, well, I mean, I'm sure it's been affecting you your entire life, and you may not realize it, but it just for sure exists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And
Yeah, we call him
so does
Cry
over
Corner.
femininity. If people, if let and there's not even a name for it, but the thing is I hear women, they're like, oh, I can't do this and I can't do, no, that's my husband. Oh, I defer to my husband, he's the head of the family, I'm just the neck. Well, honey, I'm telling you, my neck turns that head. So i'm I'm just saying, if you're gonna diminish your light so that your man can stand in the glory, you've already lost the fight of standing on your own 2 feet in that household. And that's the thing, is we have to be able to talk about these things on equal footing, because mental health does not have a
Titties.
gender. It doesn't. Yeah. I often think about Robin Williams, and he talked about how depression would whisper to him. That's what he would say. Depression would whisper to him. And I thought that was probably one of the most powerful moments in mental health history, where a top celebrity was over here telling the world that my depression is talking to me and it's telling me these horrible things. My depression is whispering in my ear about how I'm not worthy. My depression is the breeze that tells me I cannot do something, and yet he was at the top of his game. And that's what I'm talking about, is it doesn't matter if you're a billionaire, it doesn't matter if you're a thousandaire, it doesn't matter if you're in the gutter. If you continue to not seek the help that you, and I'll use Kanye since we're in that world. Kanye was at top of his game financially. You know, they say he's a fashion icon. I'll let them say that. Um, but my point is that when that narcissism, malignant narcissism, gets to the point where you are not seeking the mental health that you need, and you are not taking the medication that you know you need for a condition you have absolutely been diagnosed with, and you allow it to whisper in your ear that the enemies are all around you, and you're allowing it to take hold, that means that you have allowed the malignant narcissism and your insecurities to take over your common sense and your health. And
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
agree.
he's targeted now by his own words. Well, right, but when you have the financial capacity, this is my point. You just made my point again. When you have the financial capacity to pay the top doctors, get the top treatments, go into rehab, do whatever you need to get all of the best, and you still choose against it, that's mental health. That's my point, is it doesn't have a gender, a socioeconomic, a race, nothing. It's mental health, depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia. It doesn't care. All it cares is that it can convince you you don't need help.
Can I speak? Oh, well, first of all, hello, Roll Rebel, and hello, everybody.
Hey, what's up,
So
Ken?
you saying that there's no, are you saying there's no racial implication on mental.
Wait,
Am I saying what?
You're breaking up.
Oh,
You're
you don't
breaking
want
up.
to. You don't want to talk to me? Okay, no problem.
What are you talking about? I couldn't even hear your question.
So I'm going to ask again, and I'm going to try to speak in plain English. Maybe I can speak German for you. Are you
Oh,
saying that there
no,
are
Hold
no
on.
he said
racial
Whoa, 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 hold
implications?
on.
Okay,
no,
I'm out.
Ken,
back
I'm
up,
out. I'm
Ken,
out. I'm out.
back
I'm
off
out.
me.
I'm
hold on,
out.
Ken.
Nope,
Hold
I
on,
am not the one.
Ken.
What was he talking about?
That's
I don't
toxic
know.
masculinity right there. Wow.
Yeah, we weren't talking about race. She was using Kanye as an example of how
Wow.
of untreated mental health and how he has the resources to get the best of the best of the best, and instead of utilizing those resources available to him, he squandered it away. Yeah.
I didn't even hear his question, so I don't know what angered him.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't really hear it either.
yeah.
And if you can speak German, I'd be quite impressed. Please do so.
He can.
Okay, well then let him speak German because I would understand it about as much as I understood what he said because it didn't come through. And I don't know what I said to offend you, but I'm woman enough to say I'm sorry if you misunderstood what I was prefacing was that mental health has no gender, no race, no socioeconomic, nothing. It affects all of us.
Right. Yeah. Right.
What he's threatening me now. What is your deal with me? I
Ken,
said nothing to
what the
you.
hell, dude? Ken, what the hell? You you came in hot, bro. Without hearing the full extent of the conversation, you came in hot, dude. Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't pile on I didn't pile on Kanye either. I said he had every available resource and was admitted to
I
having
don't
a
want the
mental health
drama in here,
condition
Ken.
and chose not to seek help because of the people surrounding him. I don't know, and now he's threatening me. I'm about to find out. What does that mean?
I don't know.
And if he's
I
a
mean,
friend of your guys, this is why I just said this morning I was going to leave TikTok, and this is what I'm talking about.
I
Somebody.
don't.
No, he said that I was ignoring him and would not answer his question. I never heard a question.
Yeah.
I
I I
don't
don't
know.
even care.
Yeah.
Talk
Don't
about
sweat
mental
it, Jim.
health.
Don't sweat it if somebody comes on threatening you.
No, Ken and I have been mutuals for a while. He 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 comes in hot sometimes, and it's not your fault. I'm sure it's nothing more than a misunderstanding of parts of the conversation he didn't hear. He's extremely passionate about what he talks about too.
I'm pretty sure Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it go. I didn't do
Yeah.
anything to deserve that. So
You didn't, and that's
I
why
was
I
trying to
wanted
help
to.
Shadow and mental health in general, and he did not know what we were talking about. He jumped in.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And
I mean, it's one
one
thing
of
to be
the
passionate,
reasons why I wanted him to stop. Sorry, Shadow. Go ahead.
I said it's one thing to be passionate, but it's another thing to threaten somebody over it. Like, that's kind of crossing a line, in my opinion. But
Just me. Can you clarify what you're saying? Called a racist statement, toxic masculinity. They're two different things. I don't know what you mean by that because I wasn't talking race. I said there was no gender to mental health. That's exactly what I said. And I actually was cautioning Shadow about using toxic masculinity.
Mayhem. I honestly don't know. I never asked anybody. It was none of my business.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Yeah, I wasn't talking about race at all. I literally said the polar opposite, that race had no basis in it. And anyone who knows me knows that. So, no, I called what he did to me toxic masculinity. Talking over me. This is exactly the point of what I'm saying. You guys don't listen. Toxic masculinity is when you are not willing to listen to the female perspective. You immediately assume the negative. Then you say you have to be strong, you have to come in hot, you have to demand, you have to dictate, you have to talk over. And then you can't cry, you can't hug, you can't show emotion. You're supposed to shake it off. That's the epitome of toxic masculinity. No, that's not what happened. I said toxic masculinity was when he came back and threatened me. I said that's toxic masculinity. Do I need to clarify the whole conversation? Because I'm pretty sure we had 2,500 witnesses here.
Yeah.
You just watched what happened. What did he say? What was his question? If you know, what was his question? Because none of us heard it.
I couldn't even hear it.
What was his question, just me? Who blocked you? I didn't block anybody.
I didn't block you. Nobody blocked you, man.
I wasn't even talking about race. You brought in race to the subject. I would have answered
All right.
you, but you didn't give me a chance. You started screaming at me. You can't tag me because my account is private. My account had to be private because I was being attacked by right wingers. I am not racist. I don't talk racial anything. I support the left completely. I'm a staunch Democrat. I'm a staunch BLM supporter. I'm a staunch LGBTQ. I mean, I don't even know why I'm defending myself because I shouldn't have to. I didn't say anything derogatory to you or anyone else. I was helping Shadow about mental health.
Yeah. You don't need to defend yourself.
I feel like I do, and that's disgusting, and that's why I'm gonna just stop. I wasn't talking race. Okay, I'm gonna be very clear,
Jeez.
Ken. I'm gonna be very clear. I said, and I point blank want you to hear me. I said mental health has no racial, socioeconomic, or gender component to it. I said that it hits every demographic. That is what I said. I said to Shadow, who I was talking to, that he had to be very careful when he posted by using the term toxic masculinity because he will be blocked specifically by men who don't believe in toxic masculinity. That is what I said. Now, you have 3 men on here and me. Men, did I say anything other than that?
No,
No, that
that
was
was
it.
exactly what you said.
That was
And then
it.
when you came on, we could not hear your question. I had no idea what you asked. You just started yelling at me. And I've never met you. I don't know anything about your take on anything. And I don't understand what I said to upset you, but that was not my intent because I couldn't hear you. None of us could.
The only thing I heard him say was "I'm out," and then he dropped.
Yeah. Anyway, right.
Yeah, I've had
Okay.
that debate. Well, I've talked to people about that in comments before I was able to debate, and yeah, I've seen people's opinion on that too, and it's pretty
He's not
frustrating.
gone. He's in the comments. Don't tell me it doesn't matter. He's a friend of Rhodes and he's a friend of Travis, who both are friends of mine. So it does matter to me when somebody not only attacks me, but then threatens me. It does matter. And I don't like to end on a bad note because I don't get on TikTok for fighting. I get on TikTok to encourage the vote, to protect women's rights, to support LGBT community, to support military and personnel. That's my job. That's what I do day in and day out. So it does matter to me. I've dedicated my life to it.
Yeah. Mm, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the biggest reasons why I think it's a difficult topic to even debate because it. I mean, there are larger issues. I don't know, like
I
there are
guess Veronica wants to come in. Is she in the
Oh, yeah. I didn't see it. Yeah.
like people want to argue with me about that. They'll say like, well, it's the patriarchy, and I won't be able to like I'll agree with them. Like that's part of it. Yes, you know, like so they won't listen. They'll just want to like fight me on it, and I don't
It's
know.
trying to connect. Would you stop calling me trucker? I am rebel. Trucker is trucker is trucker. A lot. Yep. Yeah.
Veronica, what'd you have to say?
On my end, it looks like she's trying to connect.
Oh, maybe she should drop out and come back in.
Yeah.
What just happened, Nicole?
Send in another request, Veronica.
Treble. I love it.
Treble.
Treble. The trucker rebel. The rebel trucker. I love it. Treble. That should be your next
Sorry,
account
y'all.
logo.
I've
Hi.
talked to Shadow before in a different debate with Sophie. I don't know if you guys know Sophie debates. Do you
Yeah.
guys know her?
Hmm.
Um, well, you guys should definitely check her out. She's great, but you guys will not believe what just happened. I was on a different debate. Someone was they were talking about how you're not born gay and it's just like a fucking trend that people are doing, right? And
Oh.
one of the ladies was on there and she was like an adult. She was like she was like a literal, like an adult. And she was having like a temper tantrum, fucking like cursing and like yelling at everyone and was like super aggressive. Like that shit's crazy.
Huh.
Like it's so unnecessary.
It wasn't
Like why do
Lindsay,
people
was it?
act like that? I don't get it. I don't.
It wasn't Lindsay, was it?
No, it was a I don't know what her name was. It was on a guy's account that it was on a guy's account. His name was 7v7 Cadence or some shit. And there was a
I haven't
girl in
seen
there.
that one.
Yeah, and she was like that was fucking crazy. Like she just thought she really thought if she yelled and was cursing at me
Oh.
that I was going to
She,
back down. Like nah. Like I'm not going to I'm passionate about what I'm talking about. Yeah, literally, that's what she was thinking. Like, she was literally saying, because I was talking about how my
I
my
don't know.
grandfather has a lot of friends that are in the LGBTQ community that are older, obviously, but they had to like literally be closeted their whole life because of how horribly LGBTQ people were treated. I don't know if you guys agree with like LGBTQ rights. I hope so, but
Yeah.
okay,
Here,
good.
here.
But
Nicole. Nicole.
yes,
I'm a
yes.
straight white cis male, and I paint my nails for the LGBTQIA community.
We love you then. You're great.
Yes.
But like we stand. But the thing is, like I was talking about that and I was saying like there are so many older men now that had to completely fake their whole lives because they felt like they could not come out because people are
Yeah.
going to be horrible to them, right? And she was
Yep.
saying like, "Oh, we don't give a fuck about your grandfather. Like that's his problem." I was like, "Holy shit." Like like calm down. Yeah, I was like, calm down. Like, you don't have to be so aggressive. That's unnecessary. Like, I'm literally just trying to tell you, like, and because they were saying, do you guys, I don't know if you guys, agree with this, but it's scientifically proven that you're born gay and you just don't fully, like, realize until you're older because your brain has not developed to the point that you know, like, who you're attracted to yet. Do you
Yes.
guys agree with that? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. That's literally what I said. She was like, "Oh, it's a trend. They're just doing it to get attention." I was like, "Why would they do that when all the LGBTQ kids, all they get is shit on and told that they're horrible and like that they're going to hell? Like, why would they want to do that?" Literally.
I, I had a I had a guy try to argue with me yesterday that I'm pretty sure he was Canadian, but he had the American and Canadian flag in his name. Um, he he was trying to argue that if we open up the draft, that trans women would be drafted, and to prove him wrong or whatever. And it was just like, and that people will, or men, cis men would try to claim they were transgender to dodge the
Oh
draft.
yeah,
And I
was
was
that the
like,
one the other night? Was that
yeah,
the one the
yeah.
other night? Yeah.
I
That
was
was
like,
shit was
Really?
crazy.
it's like there's so many other ways that you could dodge the draft. Why would you choose like to change your gender? Like that doesn't make any sense at all. Like I don't know.
Yeah. But the thing to
So
me is just like if you're trying to debate someone, like they weren't even debating, they were just like fucking screaming at me and like telling me that I'm like just because I'm a child, like I don't know shit. Like no, I know shit. Like I'm educated. Like I just don't understand why they feel like that's okay. Like that makes them feel powerful or some shit. Like
Yeah, I don't even stick around for that shit.
they literally kicked me and blocked me. Yeah. Yeah, they kicked me and blocked me cuz I was saying like don't talk about my family cuz she was saying like fuck your grandpa like that's his problem. I was like don't talk about my family like that. Like that's super fucking rude like and disrespectful.
Well, all
And
I
they
have
just
to say
completely
is,
like that's crazy. Oh
all
my
I have to say
gosh.
is, I would like for them to go to the grave of my best friend in high school that died in '92 after I went into the military, who got gay bashed outside of a bar to death. I'd like for them to tell him that all he wanted was attention.
Literally. Like and I never wish like I try not to ever wish bad upon people because I don't want to stoop to their level, you know? But I just it does make me so angry that it's like you when if something bad happens to you like you deserve what's coming. Like if you're treating people horribly and you expect other people not to treat you the same way you're treating others, like that's just
Well,
completely
Nicole,
baffling.
Nicole,
Like
Nicole, Nicole, I hear what you're saying, but never wish bad on anybody else. But I wanted to come on really quick to talk about um my gosh, Jem. I heard her in her voice, and she's not that type of person. I know Jem, and for me to hear her like literally, like what I miss what happened, but whoever said what they said about her, that's not Jem because that's her name. She's a Jem.
we know.
So I
We
wanted to
know.
come on and I actually wanted to talk to her, but she jumped down. It seems, but I really wanted to talk to her because I know who
Yeah.
she is, and she's a great person. And to hear in her voice like that, it really upset me. So that's why I wanted to come on and actually talk to her, but she jumped down. What happened to my phone?
no,
I
I'm
guess I
not.
got frozen.
Do you know
Yeah.
who it was? The person that I was talking to?
No, no, no.
No, no, but this was
Oh,
before you came in, Nicole.
oh,
Right, right,
okay.
right.
Sorry, sorry.
I saw. Yeah, exactly. I really wanted to talk to Jen, but she had dropped. My phone got frozen, so I had to shut down and turn back on again.
Yeah.
It's
But
No,
that's
just
an
we
awesome
crazy.
know.
person.
We know, and that's why I stopped it. You
Yeah,
know.
Good.
I think a lot of the time there are people that are really great, but it's just sometimes when they get into something that is so passionate, like they're so passionate about, like sometimes it will slip sometimes. Like you will get a little frustrated if someone's like just being completely like ignorant with when they're talking to you, you know?
Yeah.
Like I understand like not everybody's perfect. Everybody's going to slip up, you know?
she didn't even say anything that was a mistake, though. Like the guy that was
Exactly.
freaking out at her, like I don't know what he thought he heard because he just started freaking out. She was just like talking about mental health in general and how it affects everybody, and then he came up here
Hmm.
and started talking about race. So it was very
And she never said
confusing.
anything about that.
Right. And I mean, I don't listen. I don't want to like rehash it to death.
Exactly.
I
So we're
I
done. We're
know
done.
I know Ken. He's very passionate about what he's passionate about. My assumption is that he misheard something or came in the half of something, didn't understand it, and came in hot. I'll talk to him. Travis will talk to him. We'll get it sorted out.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, it's
Like I said, I
you
always
know,
stick up for my friends. I mean, if it's you, Rebel, it's her. I don't care who the hell it is. You know, I'm going to say
yeah.
something about someone. You know, definitely,
No, and
all the way.
I know and I get it, and they are both
Right.
my friends, and if there's a misunderstanding there, I'll do what I can to
Frozen again.
resolve that. But you know, me, Veronica. I whatever
100%.
whatever
100%.
drama's going on, I don't go for that kind of drama. I sit here, I debate, I talk to people. I don't like the drama. And that's one
yeah.
of the
I
reasons
know.
why I shut him down as soon as he started.
I know. I know you, honey. I know.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you
But
guys are great to do
I
that.
just heard her voice, and it was really upsetting me. Her voice, and, she was just trying to like, hello, like, what did I do? And I didn't do anything, and
I know.
I'm
I know.
sorry.
Mm.
I know you will.
Yeah. Yeah. If yeah.
Yeah,
And nobody's
I
perfect.
applaud what you're doing, host. I don't know what you want me to call you if you have a
Oh, just call me
um
Rebel. Everybody calls
rebel.
me
Okay.
Rebel.
Yeah, I applaud that. Like,
Yeah. Fucking Travis. Or or
but
Treble.
I love that you're like you want to just have a conversation. Like when people escalate it to that point of like screaming at each other, like that's just like you can't be doing that. Like you gotta
Rebel
No.
always
be
calms
able to
people
have a
down,
civil conversation.
Okay,
You
bro.
know.
and he always calms people down, regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a very soothing voice, so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I get told that a lot.
You do.
you could do like audiobooks or something.
Everybody tells me that. And my
It's
wife
very
is Nurse
true.
Jean. She's in the comments. She does call me daddy once in a while.
Ah, hi, Gene. Very true.
We're actually about to go on our honeymoon cruise to Hawaii for 2 weeks here
Ooh,
on
fun.
November 17th.
Ooh,
So
that's
exciting.
fun.
Yeah.
You're not gonna want to come home.
I'm going to have to, though.
I'm telling you, when he goes, he's not gonna want to come home.